over our daily agenda. I drop things. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today is October 20th, 2020. I almost got confused. It is Tuesday. Let's go over our agenda for today as we are going to go over our Google Meets etiquette. I'm on mute. Go figure. Look at that. You'd think I'd learn by now, huh? All right. We're going to go over our review. We're going to review our Google Meets etiquette, review our class norms, review and recite our mission statement, our learning objectives. Then we are going to complete the science warm-up online, and then we will complete week 10, day 2, Tuesday lab melting moments. Yeah. Okay. Google etiquette, please show up on time. Make sure you have a quiet place to work. Have all materials and supplies ready to go. Mute your microphone. Video on. Raise your hand or wave. Unmute your microphone to talk and leave at the end of the meeting. I should probably also put in there that please do not interrupt for technical issues, because my answer is going to be make sure you're logged into ClassLinks, make sure you're logged into Google email. Honestly, that is where the end of my technology knowledge is. If I only have 1 to 5 students that are going, I can't get in, I can't get in, I can't get in, I don't have a solution for that. I don't. It's literally make sure you're logged into ClassLinks, make sure you're logged into student Gmail. Outside of that, you need to make sure that you contact the front office or the help desk to get help or assistance, because guys, I don't know. I'm sorry I don't know, because without your computer being in front of me, I can't fix that. I know that when students do bring up their computers or students in class can't get connected, the first thing we always do is ClassLinks, Gmail. And once we get those two going, it's usually working. So please do not interrupt lessons for technology issues. 9 times out of 10, it's something that you can do. It's nothing that I can do. I am sad that I don't have better answers for that. And that's where I get frustrated, because I want to be able to fix it for you, but I can't. And it's the same problem over and over and over again, and I still can't fix it. So please understand that when I get frustrated, my frustration is not with you. It is with the fact that I don't have answers, because that's where it ends. ClassLinks, student Gmail, that's where I end. That's my answer, and if those two things don't work, I don't have an answer. You need to call the front desk. Our class norms: be kind, be respectful, be working. One of the things that I am personally going to work on, because we should all have one thing that we want to improve on. Yes? There's always room for improvement. So if I were to look inside and go, okay, I want to improve on something, what's that one thing going to be? Mine's going to be the tone of my voice. Okay? That's me personally. So think about what's one thing you can do to up your kindness game, to up your respect game, and up your working game. What's one thing you can do? Our mission statement: we will work together as friends and family. Oh, I got lots of you not moving your mouth. I can see you. Let's try that again. We will work together as friends and family. Better. In Mrs. Met's class: to gain more knowledge, to work, and to learn. So we can all be successful. We will listen to each other, help each other, and encourage each other. We will make things happen. and show the world we will not accept anything short of the best. Our class goal is 100% of Mrs. Met's students will show growth on unit assessments throughout the 2020-2021 school year. They will accomplish this goal by being purposeful and intentional with their time and learning. Guys, that means that you are on time, you are following the class norms, you are paying attention, you're following directions. That is how we get to those class goals. Today's learning objective is all about energy again. You know that energy exists in many forms and can be observed in cycles, patterns, and systems. You will differentiate between conductors and insulators of thermal and electrical energy and be able to identify which material, aluminum foil, plastic, paper, or a cotton ball, is the best insulator or conductor. I will know you have learned this by reading your observations in the Melting Moments lab sheet. So we're doing another lab today. Our warm-up today, I will read it to you and then we will go get in it on Canvas. Number 1 says, explain the difference between an electrical conductor and an electrical insulator in the space below. Number 2, using the T-chart, classify the items as electrical conductors or electrical insulators. The items are a wooden pencil, plastic paper clip, a rubber band, a quarter, gold, a glass marble, aluminum foil, or an iron nail. No, you cannot actually write in the T-chart. So in the Canvas discussion, I have asked you to list it out. Let me get things going so I can show you. Go into student view. Warm-ups are always in discussions. Again, I don't know where October 20th, 2020 is in your list. It just happens to be at the top of my list. You may have to search for it and look for it, but it's there, I promise. Click on the title of it. And again, I will read it again for you. Number 1, explain the difference between an electrical conductor and an electrical insulator in the space below. Number 2, use the T-chart. Classify the items as electrical conductors and electrical insulators. The items are a wooden pencil, a plastic paper clip, a rubber band, a quarter, gold, a glass marble, aluminum foil, and an iron nail. Now, for number 2, you do have to type it in because you can't write it in the space below. For number 1, you have to type it in. For number 2, make 2 lists. One for electrical conductors, and then list those items that are electrical conductors, and then make a list for electrical insulators, and complete that list of those that are insulators. Again, make sure that you are answering both 1 and 2. Some of you are only answering number 1 and not answering number 2. You've got to answer both of them. Click reply. Type in all of your brilliance and then post reply. I am going to give you 5 minutes to complete this warm-up and go. right. Raise your hand if you'd like to share. Explain the difference between electrical conductor and insulator. Do I just need to go read some? I can do that. I'm not scared. Conductor and insulator. Okay, I'll just read them. Let's see. Let's leave student view. But possibly, please make sure that you go in and you add your answer for number 1. Khadijah says an electrical conductor lets heat pass through the item. An electrical insulator does not let heat pass through. Although electricity can conduct heat, Khadijah, can you change the word heat to electricity? Otherwise, you're correct. I could change those sentences to say an electrical conductor lets electricity pass through an item. An electrical insulator does not let electricity pass through an item. That's awesome. That's essentially all it is a conductor allows energy to pass through and an insulator stops energy from passing through. Whether it be thermal energy or water or air or electrical, a conductor is going to allow energy to pass through and an insulator is going to stop energy from passing through. Good job. So we think, let's see. Luke says an electrical conductor is gold, a quarter, iron, nail, glass, marble. An insulator is aluminum, wood, a wooden pencil, plastic paper clip, and a rubber band. I would not completely disagree with you. Although, I will tell you this. We are going to test some of these out tomorrow. Yeah. I know, I wish today, the lab, anyway, we're doing a lab today and then we'll do another lab tomorrow and then Thursday we're going to write about it all and then Friday we're going to take a test. If you've gone into your week 10 module, you'll see that it's all there. Well, maybe not. I can see it on my end, but it's not supposed to show up till that morning of. So, anyway, let's move on to our science lab. Make sure you go back. So at this point, guys, you're going to be bouncing back and forth between the meeting and your lab sheet, just like you did yesterday, all right? So you're not just staring at this meeting. You stare at it long enough to see the lab results, and then you go into your file and you make adjustments to your file. So go back to the home page. So right now you are not looking at the meeting. You're on your Canvas page. You can still hear me, but you're on your Mrs. Met's home page. You're not looking at the meeting. You're looking at your Mrs. Met's home page. If you're looking at the meeting, you're not following instructions. Make sure you click on Home. Scroll down to all the sunflowers, the field of sunflowers. It is week 10. I went in this morning and add the dates underneath them so that we kind of know what date period this is supposed to be. So week 10. And today is Tuesday. So today we will be completing the week 10, day 2, Tuesday, melting moments. So I'm going to click on the week 10, day 2, Tuesday, melting moments. I'll read the objective again. It's 4.6b. We are still focusing on energy. We're focusing on thermal energy, conductors, and insulators today, yesterday and today. You know that energy exists in many forms and can be observed in cycles, patterns, and systems. You will differentiate between conductors and insulators of thermal and electrical energy and be able to identify which material, aluminum foil, plastic, newspaper, or cotton ball is the best insulator or conductor. I will know you have learned this by reading your observations in the Melting Moments lab sheet. So, instructions, load the CAMI file below, watch the video lesson, which will be there later, complete the lab results sheets while watching the video, and submit it through Canvas. Y'all are going to be doing it live. So, since y'all are doing it live in a meeting with me, y'all are going to be bouncing back and forth between seeing me display the lab results and completing the lab sheet. So go ahead and click on that gray button down there at the bottom. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom of that assignment, it says load week 10, day 2, Tuesday. Go ahead and load that file. And guys, I'm going to preface this issue right now. If it does not load for you, you're not logged in to your student Gmail account. And I get it. You're going to say you are, but you may be logged in to somebody's personal account. It only works if you are logged in to your HEB student account. That's my answer. If that does not work for you, then you need to contact the front desk or the help desk. All right. So one of the things that I want to make very clear here is you have to be listening to the instructions. You have to be listening to what we're filling out. You have to be, because you're doing it at the same time you're listening. You are not looking at this meeting. Right now, you are looking at your Melting Moments lab sheets. You are not looking at this meeting. Please do not stare at this meeting. You're listening to my voice. I am going to go through and start reading through this Melting Moments lab before we get started. Thermal conductors and insulators. A good thermal conductor allows heat to pass through it easily. A good thermal insulator stops heat from passing. What will you need? You will need 7 pieces of chocolate chips, a small piece of aluminum foil, newspaper, plastic baggie, and a cotton ball. Now, I couldn't get my hands, I'm not going to lie, I didn't get newspaper. I'm going to go ahead and use tissue paper, okay? But do not worry about changing that. It's just fine. What we are going to do, I am going to hold a chocolate chip in my hand and note how long it takes to melt. This is called the control step. Then I'm going to use the materials and wrap a chocolate chip in each piece of material. Step 3, fill out the prediction column of the table. Will the chip melt, partly melt, or stay solid? Step 4, hold each wrapped chip in your hand for the same amount of time as you did in step 1. Then check the results and fill out the column in the table. Number 5, use the results to decide if each material is a good thermal insulator or a good thermal conductor or somewhere in between. So I'm not going to lie, I am not going to melt chocolate in my hand right now. I would rather do that at the end than at the beginning, okay? And honestly, I may not do it at all because I really don't have enough paper towels to wipe my hands off with. So what I want to do now is I want to, in that first column in your sheet, if you look at the table below, you have the wrapping material, says aluminum foil, newspaper, plastic baggie, and cotton ball. We are going to make a prediction. Will the aluminum foil allow the chocolate chip to melt, partly melt, or stay solid? Write your answer now. You are filling in the table. You are filling in the, guys, y'all should be typing or writing in your worksheet. Some of you, I still see both of your hands. That means you're not following instructions. If I see both of your hands in the screen right now, you are not listening and you are not following instructions. In your table, in your lab table on this lab sheet, you have a table that is listed, the columns listed are wrapping material, prediction, result, and you will determine if it's a conductor and insulator in between. So for aluminum foil, newspaper, plastic baggie, and cotton ball, you need to be typing or writing in, is it going to melt, partly melt, or stay solid? So for aluminum foil, do you think the chocolate chip will melt, partly melt, or stay solid? Write your prediction now. All right. For the next wrapping material, says newspaper. I'm going to use tissue paper. So I'm actually, and you do not have to do this, only do it if it makes you happy. I'm going to mark out newspaper and write tissue paper. And then I'm going to give you a minute to write your prediction. Do you think the tissue paper would melt the chocolate, partly melt the chocolate, or will the chocolate stay solid? And a plastic baggie. Do you think the plastic baggie is going to melt the chocolate chip, partly melt the chocolate chip, or keep the chocolate chip solid? All right. So right now you should have your prediction for aluminum foil, newspaper, plastic baggie, and the cotton ball in your form. At this point, what you are now going to do is you are going to come back to the meeting because you do need to see the lab. Everybody needs to click on the tab for the meeting so that you can see the lab. All right. So it says in our lab, we are going to be melting chocolate using different items to determine if they are good conductors or insulators, okay? So I am going to have these items. The first one is the aluminum foil. And like I told you, I'm actually not going to melt a chocolate chip in my hand because I don't want to make a mess yet. But what I am going to do is I have my cotton ball, my aluminum foil, my chocolate chips, my plastic baggie, and my tissue. So I have all my items, okay? So raise your hand or wave at me if you think that the aluminum foil is going to let the chocolate chip melt. That's one. Wave at me if you think the aluminum foil is going to let the chocolate chip melt. Camera's on, guys. Just a few of you. Wave at me if you think, okay, everybody stop waving. Wave at me if you think the aluminum foil is going to keep the chocolate chip solid. Kaden says solid. Aaliyah, Luke, Sujab. Nope, not Luke. All right. Tyler. All right. All right, all right. How many of you think that it's just going to partly melt? Wave at me. Partly melt. Partly melt. Kamarian. Anli. Camera's on, guys. Brianna. All right. So I'm going to try it. So I am going to put a chocolate chip in the aluminum foil. Then I'm going to wrap it up in my hand. And I'm going to hold it for a minute. I'm going to hold it for 1 minute. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. And y'all know that y'all can try this lab at home too and see if you get the same results. Get some chocolate, aluminum foil, cotton ball, plastic baggie, and tissues. Most of these items are things that we have at home. And if you don't have chocolate chips, you might have something else. Like even try it with a piece of butter. Ask permission first though, right?
I got like a whole bag of chocolate Hershey Kisses because of Halloween.
Oh, I wonder what the results would be if the chocolate, the kisses are bigger. You know?
Well, let's do it 1 minute more.
Nope, right now. I got a timer.
It looks like you just squished it. It looks like you just squished it.
Well, I gotta heat it up. All right, so what do y'all think?
It's crumpled.
Yeah, but is that
It's
melted,
melted. It's melted.
partly melted, or solid?
Partly melted.
I think it's partly melted. So, go back into your lab sheet. I'm going to give you a minute to go click on that tab for that lab sheet. And under aluminum foil, you're going to write partly melted. Partly melted. Scarlett.
Under the result, right? I got it right.
Under the result, yes. Under the results for the aluminum foil, the third column says result for aluminum foil is partly melted. Now, I got it wrong. My prediction was it was going to melt. It only partly melted. All right, we ready for the next one? Gonna use tissue paper. Wave your hands if you think it's gonna melt. Melt. Wave at me if you think it's gonna melt. Put your hands down. Wave at me if you think it's gonna partly melt. Put your hands down. Wave at me if you think it's gonna stay solid. A couple of you think it's going to stay solid. Well, we're about to find out. This may turn into a mess. All right. So I'm going to put a chocolate chip in. Let me set my timer first. All right. My timer for 1 minute is, oh, I'm really afraid this one's going to leak through. And go. Got about 20 seconds left. All right, you ready for the big reveal? Let's see. Oh, what did it do? What did it do?
It's still solid.
It's still solid!
And when the tissue wasn't hot.
Oh my gosh!
You looked it already.
That is not what I thought it would do! Alright, go back to your lab sheet, and with the tissue paper under results, you're gonna write stays solid. That's crazy! Maybe my hands just aren't warm enough. I don't know. I really encourage you to do this at home and tell me what kind of results you get. All right. I'm making a mess. Yeah.
I think you're cheating.
How? How am I cheating?
She's cheating. She's doing the right thing. Put the paper in the water so it won't melt.
If I put this paper in water, it would like fall apart. It's tissue. You are so funny. All right. I'm going to do the cotton ball next. And I say I'm going to do the cotton ball next because I'm actually going to use my plastic baggie as my trash to put all my stuff in. So I'm going to do the cotton ball next. Wave at me if you think it's going to melt. Oh, not many of you think it's going to melt in the cotton ball. Put your hands down. Wave at me if you think it's going to partly melt. Couple of you? All right, all right, all right. Put your hands down. Wave at me if you think it's going to stay solid. All right. So most of us think it's going to stay solid. Guess we'll see, won't we? I am not cheating. All right. Okay. Chocolate chip in. You ready? Okay. Minute. 30 seconds. This is fun. Y'all really need to do this at home.
Maybe next time you should send out an email saying, hey, you guys get this stuff for class.
You think y'all would, though?
Hey, Miss Matt, I don't know what you say. You would say, hey, I was just cheating. Now you try it your own. You would say that.
You could, but I don't know who told me to send out an email. That's a good idea. I don't because I'm afraid that you might not have the resources to do it. Look at that. What happened to this? Can y'all see that? Here.
It's like hardly melted, but it's like so solid.
Oh, it is definitely still solid. It is definitely still solid. So, go back to your lab sheet. And under the, I'm going to do it last because I'm using the plastic baggie as my trash. So when I'm done, I'm putting all this in there. All right. So under the for the cotton ball, under results, we're going to write stay solid. Stay solid. All right. You ready? Ready for the last one? Put one in there. It's in the plastic baggie. See, Sujava, I'm not cheating. Not cheating. No cheating going on here. Ain't got time for that. Cheating requires lying. Lying requires you to remember your lies. My memory's not that good. All right, are we ready? Okay, I'm going to put it in my hand. 1 minute, go.
I think it will melt.
Oh, yeah. Wave at me if you think it's going to melt. All right, put your hands down. Wave at me if you think it's going to partly melt. Put your hands down. Wave at me if you think it's going to stay solid. Couple of you think it's going to stay solid? I don't know. That tissue paper sure did surprise me. You never know. Could have stuck my hand in ice water first, huh? What? No, I could have stuck my hand in ice. How do y'all know my hand hasn't been sitting in ice? You don't know that. You don't know that. So, go try this lab on your own and tell me what happens. I will tell you this. On Monday, we're going to be looking at force. So, if on Monday you want to gather various toys that we can look at, you can join in on the discussion. All right, let's see what happened. What do you think happened? Look at that. It what? What happened to it?
It hardly melted.
It partly, and it's not focusing. All right. So, for the plastic baggie, look at that. It partly melted. Look at that. Now you can see it. All right. Okay. So, under the results for the plastic baggie, go back to your lab sheet and write partly melted. Unli. You did. That is fantastic. Man, you guys are amazing. I totally didn't, and I will show you that I didn't. Yes. All right.
It's November 16th. I'm coming back to the school.
Fantastic. All right. So, on your lab sheet, you need to go back to your lab sheet. Everybody should be looking at their lab sheet, not at the meeting. Make sure you are looking at the lab sheet, not at the meeting. You have the very last column. We need to write whether or not it is a conductor, an insulator, or somewhere in between. So, for the aluminum foil, it partly melted, so we're going to say that it is in between. So, in the last column for aluminum foil, you need to write or type in between. For the tissue paper, who would have thought the tissue paper would have saved the chocolate chip? It stayed solid. So I say a tissue paper is a thermal insulator. So next to the tissue paper, you're going to write insulator. How about the plastic baggie? The plastic baggie, is it a conductor, an insulator, or an in-between? In-between? I'm going to say that it's an in-between. How about the cotton ball? Is it a conductor, an insulator, or an in-between? It is an insulator. All right, so I'll give you a minute to finish that up and we will talk about your observation and conclusion.
Still won by cheating.
There's no winning or losing.
How the heck are you supposed to be? For him, I'm going to turn.
Nah. Yeah.
Is it colder?
No. I'm in the same city as you, aren't I? All right. All right, so go back to looking at your lab sheet. Make sure you are looking at your lab sheet and scroll down to where it says observations and conclusion. Observations and conclusion. Scroll down where it says observations and conclusion. Now, when I was going through yesterday and grading some of your lab sheets from yesterday, some of you did not write incomplete sentences, and you got a grade back that was less than satisfactory because you must write incomplete sentences. And guys, y'all are in the 4th grade. When you are typing, please make sure you're using capital letters and punctuations. Otherwise, it's one big, huge, random list of words that you hope somebody can make sense out of them. You guys are old enough to know better. You guys are in writing classes and reading classes. You know that every book you read has capitalization and punctuation. I'm not looking for your grammar to make sense, but I do want to make sure that I can tell the difference between the beginning of your sentence and the end of your sentence. So, 2 things to make very clear. Complete sentences, please. Not a bullet list, not a random set of thoughts. I want complete sentences. So, your observations. What details were you looking for to determine if the material was a good thermal insulator or good thermal conductor? And I'm going to give you a hint. Think states of matter. Think states of matter. Were you looking for it to be a solid, a liquid, or a gas? How much of a solid, how much of a liquid, and how much of a gas? Make sure you're writing in complete sentences. Your conclusion. Which material do you think will keep the chocolate from melting for the longest amount of time? So we only did it a minute at a time. But which one do you think will keep the chocolate from melting or be the best insulator for, let's say, 10 minutes or 20 minutes? Which one is going to be the best? Make sure, again, that you are writing it in complete sentences. I want to know that a capital letter is the beginning and a period is at the end. All right. You have, wow. You have 25 minutes. You have 25 minutes to finish this. When you are done, please make sure that you click the submit button on that file so that I can go through and grade it, and then go in and maybe complete the lab sheet from yesterday if you didn't finish it. Maybe make some changes to your warm-up, or maybe go in and work on lab workshops or math workshops, okay?